get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show.
Thank you so much for joining me, Max.
No problem
Can
at
I
all.
get you to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Maxwell Mcknight. I'm 19 years old and I'm a business management student at Anglia Ruskin University. In my spare time, I advocate online for inclusion and kind of just awareness of different disabilities. And I work with a few different charities. Yeah.
Perfect. And can you share what your disability is?
So I have spinal muscular atrophy type 2, which is a muscle wasting condition. I was diagnosed at about 2.5, and I was in a wheelchair by the time I was 3. So I'm a full-time wheelchair user, and I rely on a carer.
And yet you live a really active, full life, which is amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely amazing. And you're so
100%.
positive, which I
I
love.
Yeah, no, I don't let it get in my way. I think like all the stuff that I do online is just basically showing that even though I do suffer from a muscle wasting condition, I don't let it get in my way, and there's always adaptations and ways around things.
And what would you say is has been the most influential thing to get you up and going every day? What is it? Is it your mindset? What is it?
Um, I would say it's my mindset. I like proving people wrong all the time. I think in society, there's like a lot of people assume things when they see me that might not be true. And so I'm always kind of just trying my best. I feel also like I always have to try my best as well to prove these people wrong. I'd say that's what gets me out of bed and gets me going every single day. But I think when you have a disability, you kind of just gain a resilient mindset anyway. And yeah, I think even though my disability has put a lot of challenges kind of in my way, it's made me have quite a resilient and positive mindset and a lot of things. So it's definitely had a lot of benefits in my life.
And yeah, I mean, I know that from our conversation before as well, that it just there's no stopping you, and I can see that you are going places. It's not, definitely not holding you back.
Thank
Um,
you.
in terms of your university course, what challenges did you face when you were selecting a university, and um, how are you getting on at uni?
Yeah, so I'm getting on at uni really well. I think out of everything in my life so far, university has probably been one of the most accessible organizations that I've been to so far, which is actually quite a surprise for me. Because secondary school, primary school, all of that was really bad in terms of accessibility. I think like the main factors when choosing a university are like if it has like a disabled toilet, if there's ramped access everywhere, and kind of just like how disability confident they are. That was like my main priority, and my university have been really amazing so far. Their kind of disability inclusion officers been really great to me, getting anything that I want done change, kind of these reasonable adjustments, they call them. So yeah, it's been really good so far.
And so just to kind of latch onto those words, reasonable adjustment, it's something that we spoke about in terms of employment. Obviously, you're in your second year at university, you're
Yeah.
coming quite quickly because the weeks are just flying by. Come next summer, you're going to be looking for a placement, all being well, with an
Yes.
employer. And a couple of things you said there, one about making reasonable adjustments and the other about being disability confident.
Yeah.
How have you found organisations to be that you've had to have dealings with to date? And I know that's a real mixed bag, but good
Oh,
experiences, bad. What could organisations do better?
I think overall, as you said, it's been quite a mixed bag. It depends like what organization it is. But what I guess they could do better is, I think the thing with a disability, I can always adapt to different situations. And so a lot of the time, it's just literally giving me more time to make those changes. So, like, for example, I'll go back to maybe when I was in secondary school and just talk about how, if they're planning a trip away, just giving me that extra bit of time to say, all right, this is where we're going. This is what I need done. I can sort all of that out for you. I just need a plan of like where you're going, what you're doing. So I think in terms of making things more accessible, it's just time and making sure I'm not expecting everything to have step-free access because there's some things that you can't make step-free,
Mm.
but it's just putting a ramp in where you can, um, and just having people around to help me as well. Obviously, my carer does a lot of the physical things for me, but just being accepting and welcoming and trying to make changes where you can is just, yeah, just being understanding, really.
And I mean, I talk about this about people, even in terms of every element of life, being understanding and just being aware that somebody sitting next to you at work might have completely different needs to you. It
Mm,
doesn't mean that they're being treated any more favorably, but it's about creating a level playing field so that they can operate at the same point as you.
ye-
And having that access is so important.
I, I
Um,
would agree because I mean, I guess for me, obviously, people see me in a wheelchair, and they might not think about all the things that kind of happens behind the scenes. Like when I go home, obviously, I'm really lucky to have a fully adapted house, but other people in my situation might not have that, and so there's like lots of things that when I get ill, it can make me like chronically tired or have like machines helping me to cough. Um, and everything just takes a little bit longer. So like behind the scenes, there's so much that goes on that people might not uh understand. And obviously I don't really expect them to understand, but as you said, like somebody's going through like a lot of things and they might not see that on the outside when they see like Happy Maxwell who turns up, who's just spent like the last like 5 hours getting up and ready.
yeah, yeah. And that's testament to your resilience as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think. um so in terms of your degree content and what you've enjoyed so far, and the kind of skills you've learned that you want to take into the workplace and thinking of your future career now, what have been the highlights of your degree?
I think some of the highlights were doing a marketing campaign for the Cambridge Rugby Club. I really enjoyed that because that was quite practical and hands-on, and kind of we did a presentation at the end of what the campaign was and kind of what we were doing, and that was really nice. I love business innovation. I'm doing that module at the moment, and that involves a presentation at the end, and I really enjoyed organizational behavior. Um, I kind of like the models and things more in that kind of module. But outside of university, I'm also like quite entrepreneurial as well. So obviously with my like video creations and things like that, I'm quite good at marketing. In 2019, I started my own drone business, and that was during my A levels. Basically, I realized that kind of at that level, everybody's going out to Tesco's getting these like manual labor jobs, and like I can't actually do that. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with my cognitive ability, but I physically can't do some things like that.
Yeah.
So I decided to make my own drone business to make some income and just explore business a little bit more, and that kind of went really well. I created my own website, got some clients.
Give it a
Obviously,
plug. Give it a plug.
yeah, Digital Horizon Views. Um, I don't do so much of it anymore. They're obviously still open to offers. Um, yeah, and I kind of now I'm kind of working on a cookbook and I'm also, well, it's in the workings, but I'm trying to make a supercar stake business where people can share supercars,
Okay.
which is going quite well at the moment. So yeah.
Tell me a bit more about that.
So my friend Ivan came to me probably like a few months ago now, and he's been really successful. He works for Roche, the pharmaceutical company,
Yeah.
and he's done quite a few kind of medical businesses. And he's like, Maxwell, how do you feel about making this supercar sharing business in the UK? And I was like, of course, I'm 100% up for it. Um, so at the moment, we're kind of just making the business plan. We've kind of got a few clients that are kind of interested, but how it works is 10 people share one supercar. So the depreciation is way less. And obviously, with a supercar, people don't drive them all year long. They only drive them for like a couple odd weekends. So
Yeah.
there's like a website and a booking system where you can like book when you want to drive it, and they've done it successfully in Sweden and Denmark, I think. So we're trying to use that business model over here.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
That's brilliant.
yeah, thank you.
I'll be looking that up. And what would you say to a prospective employer? Because I know we've been talking about what your year in industry is going to look like. So as
Yes.
part of your degree, you want to spend a year getting some work experience, and being in a real work environment, not as the work experience student who gets to do the filing or the, make the teas and coffees, but actually a real role that you can
Yeah.
apply some of the things that you've learned, and also your amazing business experience that you've already got ideas and so much to offer. What would be your ideal role for that year? How do you see your year panning out?
Um, I guess like just like obviously I have a disability, but I want it to be like just any other student that's looking for placement. Um, at the moment, I've been applying for like a lot of jobs in London, working like 5 days a week. I don't mind like being in office. I quite like the idea of like innovation. I think that comes from like also like having, as much as I like business, having a disability, I'm always trying to adapt and come up with like new ideas and things.
Yep.
And so I am, I'm always trying to find like a new thing to do. And so like innovation kind of just like pops out to me. So yeah, anything just part of a team or just working on my own, just trying to create something new. I don't I do like numbers, I'm good with numbers, but I do kind of like that more practical getting in there,
Yeah.
um, showing off my skills. Yeah.
And in terms of your video editing, you've got all that to offer as well, like in terms of marketing and promotion sort of work.
Yes,
You've got
I'm quite good at like understanding social media, and I understand all of their algorithms and what they're looking for. And yeah, editing, catching the eye of whoever's watching. So yeah.
brilliant. Okay. Um, what would you say to an employer who might look at your disability and think, actually, this is going to be too much effort?
Um, I would say that I'm probably more hardworking than most of my other peers at university, and I have a lot more dedication and drive. Um, I've got to university despite all of my challenges, and some of my peers are just like walking through it like nothing ever happened. And so yeah, I've got a lot of drive, and there's nothing really negative like about my disability in terms of the business. I'll show off on time, I'll stay later hours. Yeah.
And it's really interesting you say that, because I had a conversation last year with wonderful guys over in the States, Anthony, and it's the same thing. He's just so grateful for the opportunity, But it shouldn't have to be like that. But the employer, we all need employers who value us and value our input and value us turning up every day. All of us. That's just something that we all deserve. And it really isn't your disability really isn't a barrier to what you could bring to an organization. So I think there are many organizations who'd be absolutely over the moon to have you, and very lucky to have you.
Thank you.
What are your long-term goals? What do you want to do beyond university? What would be your I can see you setting your own business up.
Yeah, I guess like I don't know, like a
If
mega
you're veering that way.
entrepreneur. No, I mean, beyond university, I mean, yeah, just getting like a really good job, having side hustles. I like the idea of doing real estate as well. Yeah, no, I guess like at this point, I'm just like open to quite a lot of things, anything really. Um, I guess like at this point, I'm just trying to find also like what I really enjoy. Um, and yeah, so anything really.
Wonderful. And tell me a bit about your car.
Oh, my car, yeah. So I'm gonna be learning to drive very soon when my car comes, hopefully in January. Um, and it's going to be driven by joysticks. So I'm going to drive with two joysticks. One's for like accelerating and braking, and the other one is for steering, which is really cool. It's fully adapted, electric ramp at the back, automatic lockdown system for my wheelchair. So I'm really excited for the freedom that that's gonna offer me. Obviously, because being disabled, I can't just jump into somebody else's car. I've got to plan everything that I do around accessible transport. So it's going to be, yeah, really freeing for me.
It's amazing. When you were telling me about your car, I was buzzing for you. It just sounds amazing. Sounds like it's going to be, a real game changer for you. In terms of things like, obviously we've got the law, we have the Disability Discrimination Act, we have the Equality Act. There's a lot of protection in the workplace from a legal perspective, but unfortunately we can't always police human beings, and human beings can be mean.
Yeah.
We can encourage them not to be, but they can be mean. How have
Yeah.
you dealt with discrimination, or how has it impacted you, and has it made you more aware? I kind of guess I know what the answer is already, knowing you a little bit, but
I to be fair, like I guess obviously it's like two things because obviously I am mixed race and I'm also disabled. And so like growing up, like I had quite a lot of like bullying at school. I had a lot of like staring, obviously. And so I guess throughout the years I just built like a resilient mindset. I have to admit, whenever somebody's discriminated against me or called me a bad name, I just laugh at it, to be honest. At this point I just get on with it and go stronger. It kind of just gives me, I don't know, it kind of just gives me energy to keep on going as well. It fuels me when people call me names or discriminate
that's not an
against me. So
invitation to anyone to bring it on.
no, exactly, but
but I
yeah,
understand. Yeah,
yeah,
I
no,
kind
it,
of,
yeah,
it wears thin, right? And there is no room for it on any level. I don't think there's no justification for anything like that.
no,
And it's
100%.
but it's, it gets to a point where it's hard to keep hearing it or keep seeing it, and just see that judgment.
It's
And really there's nothing to see here,
mm,
move
it's I guess like my school experience, like I had the same thing over and over again where they couldn't provide like ramps, or there was one point where I couldn't go upstairs in a building even though there was a lift. They didn't have a evacuation plan, and there was points where I couldn't, they wouldn't build like a disabled toilet for me, so they wanted to put me in a different school. And I've kind of had that every single stage. So it does wear thin, and like you kind of have to choose your battles after a while. And so yeah, there's definitely no room for it, even though I did get over those things, obviously, from like the ages of like, well, from when I first went to school until I left, there was all these challenges. And yeah, it definitely does get very challenging at times.
Well, I'm absolutely so excited about your future,
Yeah,
and want to shout out to my good friend Paul Mackenzie for introducing us, because he's
100%.
amazing as well. And any last comment to the AV industry, because I'm going to be pushing this out to everybody.
Hi, I'm here. I'm very hardworking. Yeah, and I'm up for any challenge, and yeah, I'll smash it.
I know you will. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time today, and I look forward to watching what comes next for you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up